news, Hillary Clinton will break her silence on the email controversy plaguing her expected presidential run. Sources tell CNN that within 48 hours, or as soon as 48 hours, Clinton will address why she used a private email account and a server for government business while she was Secretary of State. It will likely be in a news conference, we're told, although a final decision hasn't been made. But has the damage already been done?
Thank you. Hillary Clinton appeared on stage 4 times today, but no mention of her controversial use of only personal email while Secretary of State or the private server she keeps it on.
There will be no mistakes in my rise to the top if I decide to run. Who knows?
Saturday Night Live started its show this weekend with a parody of Clinton explaining herself.
Those emails are clean as a whistle. This is not how Hillary Clinton goes down. I mean, what did you think my email said? Hi, it's Hillary. I really screwed up on Benghazi today. Please.
So far, though, almost a week since the news first broke, Hillary Clinton has only sent a lone tweet saying the State Department would release her emails. After her event Monday, she left the venue in Manhattan without answering questions.
Secretary Clinton, will you explain the email, Secretary Clinton?
But 2 sources familiar with Clinton's plans say she will address the issue soon, likely in a press conference, heeding calls from fellow Democrats.
I think that she needs to step up and come out and state exactly what the situation is. I think at this point, from this point on, the silence is going to hurt her.
The White House is distancing itself from the political firestorm. In an interview with CBS News this weekend, President Obama said he was caught off guard.
Mr. President, when did you first learn that Hillary Clinton used an email system outside the U.S. government for official business while she was Secretary of State?
At the same time, everybody else learned it through news reports.
Today, White House Press Secretary Josh Earnest clarified the president's comments, saying he was actually aware she used a personal email account.
The president, as I think many people expected, did over the course of his first several years in office trade emails with his Secretary of State. He was not aware of the details of how that email address and that server had been set up, or how Secretary Clinton and her team were planning to comply with the Federal Records Act.
Out front tonight, former special counsel to President Bill Clinton, Lanny Davis, and we also have Sean Spicer. Hello. He is the chief strategist and communications director for the Republican National Committee. Lanny, so we've got a source familiar with Hillary Clinton's plans saying that she will explain what she did was, quote, completely innocent. That's what we're told. So if it was completely innocent, why didn't she explain herself a week ago?
Well, in the age of the internet, a week is a long time, 2 weeks is an eternity. We went through 3 years and $70 million of whitewater, which everybody hyperventilated about, the media, congressional Republicans, $70 million of Ken Starr's investigation, and that ended up with nothing. So I think that's where this is headed, despite the wishful thinking of my colleague from the Republican National Committee. A few weeks from now, much less a few months from now, there's no story here. Everything she did was legal, accessible, and she's offered to publish everything after the State Department looks at it.
Okay, so, but let me ask, and I want you to jump in on this too, Lanny. Sean, I mean, Lanny's talking about whitewater. Isn't that kind of exactly where you want Democrats to be?
Really?
I'd like them to be anywhere. I'd like them to be a little bit more forthright. I mean, for example, let me just ask this to Lanny. Lanny, you and your firm represent several countries that have a horrible human rights record. Did you at any time email Secretary Clinton on that private email about any business pertaining to the countries that you represent?
Actually, you're wrong. My firm doesn't represent horrible countries. The only country that I represented several years ago, Archbishop Desmond Tutu, praised my work for human rights. So you are not only wrong, but to then attack me rather than facing the facts that nothing done here was illegal. And
no, but did you email her about business?
The answer is no.
Answer the question, Lanny. Did you email her about?
I said no, but your false
so nothing
smear
about
is
New Guinea,
typical,
nothing about Ivory Coast, nothing about Honduras.
You think throwing out a smear is going going to be believed because you say it when I said it's false and Archbishop Desmond Tutu endorsed my work,
okay,
which
gentlemen,
you forgot to mention.
Gentlemen, I really want to talk about the email situation.
Look,
but he doesn't.
They don't want to talk about what's in those emails because they know that some of that information pertaining to the secretaries. I mean, look, whether Lanny conducted business with her or not, right now we don't know. The president today talked about the fact that he was emailing with her. Think of the cybersecurity concerns that should exist, that you have the president of the United States emailing the Secretary of State on an unsecure server at a time when the Secretary of State is telling people about how vulnerable the United States is. That alone should present huge problems. Never mind the idea of we have no idea what people like Lanny or others were emailing her about with respect to actual business in front of the State Department. Those are all very legitimate concerns.
No, let me say this. There are a lot of outstanding questions about the emails, no doubt, and certainly we will be getting into that. But I also have this point that I've been dying to ask you about, Sean, so I want to get it in there, and that's here's a for instance. Former Republican presidential candidate, former Arkansas Governor Mike Huckabee, he was talking about the Clintons. He made a reference to The Godfather. Let's listen.
Look, these are people who know how to play politics. They play to win. They use every tool at their disposal to win. I look at it like Michael Corleone once looked at the business he was in. It's not personal. It's just business.
Okay, so here's my question, Sean. Republicans going after the Clintons, are you at risk here of overplaying your hand, maybe, of making Hillary Clinton look like a sympathetic figure?
Oh, no, I don't think so at all. I think, look, the fact of the matter is that the Clintons know how to play hardball politics probably better than anybody in this country. So the idea that they can't handle a couple tough questions, the fact of the matter is, over the top right now is just asking basic, simple questions. Why did you have a server installed? What steps did you take to secure it? What things were emailed on that? How many more emails haven't you turned over? That's hardly going over the top. That's just the beginning where we should be starting and something that every American should be asking. But, Brianna, let me just, one other thing that's really interesting, and Lanny might be able to answer this. This is a separation statement that every employee of the State Department was asked to fill out, including the time when Secretary Clinton was there. It requires that every employee from the Department of State, when they leave, agree that everything that they have turned over, everything pertaining to government business, has been turned over, and they have to sign that as part of the separation agreement when you leave the Department of State. The question is, why is that something that was asked of every employee to make sure all documents, all business was officially
Lanny,
turned over, and yet Secretary Clinton didn't abide by that either?
To that point, Lanny, I mean, I think it's fair to say that she violated the spirit of this regulation for sure, and I just wonder, why would she put herself in this position, especially when, you know, there's been a narrative about the Clintons and Hillary Clinton that they're not particularly forthcoming.
Well, first of all, your statement that she violated the spirit is your opinion. It's a subjective term. The lawyer for
Democrats say it to me, Lanny. Democrats say it to me.
There are people who will use the word spirit, and I'd like to finish, please. The director of litigation of the Archives Administration, quoted in the New York Times story, said there was nothing illegal. He said it on CNN.
I'm not saying illegal, but that's not the point. You're setting up a straw man. I'm talking about whether she did. You can do something wrong and it's not illegal.
Brianna, if you interrupt me and you don't interrupt somebody who smeared me and lied about me, then I'm sorry, that's not appropriate. I'm telling you that she did not violate the spirit or the law, and that it's a subjective term. I'm also saying to the gentleman spoken loosely, now that he lied about me, from the RNC, if you're talking about national security and preservation, a private server versus the State Department server, I would remind everyone about WikiLeaks, that we're not exactly secure. I would also remind that it's different. A governor is different than a secretary. I understand that. Jeb Bush for 18 years had his own server, and we didn't know about 3 million emails. Good for him for disclosing 250,000, 2,750,000 haven't been disclosed. And I say Jeb Bush did nothing wrong, either the spirit or the letter because they're available for everybody to ask for, and the server can't have anything deleted. We all know that.
And Lanny, just a final word from me here. I just want to say we did hear your defense there against Sean. You said that Desmond Tutu praised your work. So I just want you to know that we heard that, and it was on the record there. And that is Lanny's word on that. Sean Spicer,
not my
Lanny
word.
Davis.
It's on the internet. You can find Tutu's letter on the internet. Don't take my word. What he did was lie on the air when it's on the internet that Bishop Tutu praised what I tried to do
Lanny,
for human rights.
Okay, hey, I didn't mean to set up a firestorm on this. Sean, Lanny, thank you so much. Appreciate both of you being with us. And out front next, we have